What's up, everyone? Again, Old School Law. I am Dantron69K here with another fat group, and I mean PHAT, pretty hot and tempting, not the other one. You know what I'm talking about? So we're on episode. I don't care. You'll see it in whatever the description is. So I'm gonna introduce some of these guys here. First off, I'm gonna start off with my co-pilot, Wolfman.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Then coming over to this side, I got Mr. Foster.
Word.
Excited to have you here, my friend. Right below him, we got the man, Scantron 5K. Never played Tron.
I've been drinking.
Yes. Below me, you see down there is Endgame Arcade back again. Thanks for being here, my friend.
We're in the end game now.
We've been in the end game for like months. Like, when is this going to stop? It's not,
We're
because
in the
you're
end
awesome.
time.
All right. Next to him, below Wolfman over there, I got Layeth the Smackdown.
So anyways, I started blasting.
Clack, 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 clack. Oh, man. And then all the way down in the special dessert area at the bottom, that does not mean that he is the bottom of the pyramid holding up all of this greatness, but it is Arcade Adam.
Could it quite possibly be the 69th episode?
Ooh, you know what? Every episode 69 when it has a good ending. But I'm just saying, thank you everyone for being here. I'm super excited. Wolfman, give us a little description on why we're all together.
I wasn't really prepared for this, but all right, here we go. Off the cuff, no edits. So tonight's episode is a special light gun episode, and we'll be talking about our favorite light gun games. Whether it's, I'm sure most of us are going to be talking about arcade light gun games. Some of us might be talking about console light gun games, and some of us might be talking about PC light gun games. So it's going to be a great episode. You could see this is a tremendous cast of characters here to help us bring in this episode tonight. And I'll turn things over. I know there were some people that wanted to say a few words before we officially get it started.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Gentleman that is not on here at this time, but he has a wonderful, since we're talking about light guns, I figured I'd bring him up. Integrum. He has his own standalone light gun drive, and I know that it's got a lot of things coming through the pipe, updates, like automatic updates for your new games that are coming out, auto updating different types of guns. It's a fantastic drive, and actually I'm gonna throw it over to somebody that's actually been experiencing this drive for himself, Arcade Adam, and tell us a little bit more about his drive. Just quickly.
It's right there. Provider of hardware, Silk Systems, another one of our buddies. But yeah, Larson, I think I'm gonna have to call you out because I think you missed the best part about this.
I'm ready.
Is his attention to detail, especially when it comes to shaders. Because I fired up, you were there, we had this in Chicago with us on our big trip for the Pinball Expo, and we fired up House of the Dead 2, I believe it was, and we saw the eye movement of the zombies in the guy's head for, like, I know for me it was the first time. So the clarity and quality of the game and the attention to detail is what you're getting here. His scripts and the shaders that go into this, and the on top of that, making sure everything is in the original aspect ratio, so it's just maximum quality. That's what this drive brings to the table is attention to detail.
So
I'll say that.
We were not paid to do any of this kind of stuff, but
No.
we know we're just a group of gamers and we love gaming. This is a great guy, and we decided that we wanted to just talk. Since we're talking about this, might as well talk about that. He didn't pay us, didn't ask for any of this stuff. We wanted to do that because it is such a good standalone drive for anybody that wants to get into it, and it's going to freaking blow your mind once you get it in there. So anyways.
Full disclosure, I'll add the last little bit to that is I did pay for this, and I did not do a review. He didn't ask me for a review, and I think he did give me a discount, though, because he's a cool guy.
There we go. All right. We're going to throw those ones aside now. But now we're into the meat and potatoes. It's about to go down. Meat and potatoes. And you know what? They're not just the regular potatoes. They're the potatoes with the Uncle Dan's ranch dressing mixed in. Anybody done that?
Ooh,
Am I the only one that's done it?
The hell's Uncle Dan's?
Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation. You know what? We're gonna have to do a food special. Food special law episode coming up. Best snack food for gaming. You heard it here first. It's gonna happen. All right. So we're gonna start this off first with one of our guests that we haven't had on before, and I'm super excited to hear what he brings up. And it's gonna be Mr. Jim Foster. Jim, start us off hop, will you?
Jim Foster.
So the year 9999 Dreamcast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a school teacher, and obviously I know I'm going to be calling in sick the next day. So I'm standing in front of this store, and I get my Dreamcast, and I get House of the Dead 2.
Yes.
House of the
I
Dead
love it,
2.
dude.
And just cracks me up. I mean, arcade perfect. I mean, I got the funny guns that come along with it, and you got the corny Japanese translation of "G over there," and it's like, what the heck? And you're laughing. And no, that was my first like shooting zombies, and literally just like arcade perfect. Taking it home it's just incredible. So I've been collecting games. Like, for instance, I had the Act Lab game CRT for my first main computer. I was on the Kickstarter for Sinden. I got the Gun for IR. I got the aim tracks, and nothing at that point in time could actually match the Dreamcast version of arcade perfect House of the Dead 2. And shooting zombies and cheesy story, and just having people come over and play that game. That to me was the first time you had the arcade experience at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's a great pick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I got a great side story about House of the Dead 2 whenever you're finished.
Go.
Oh no, and I was gonna say, House of Dead 3, which is the perfect sequel to it. So I couldn't tell which one was my favorite one, so I kind of put them like side to side, because they literally. So the guy G who bleeds out in House of Dead 2 is obviously in House of Dead 3, which is like amazing. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah, what you got, Scantron?
Yeah, man. So my best homie and I, this is back when we were in our 20s. We went to the local GameWorks. Back in the day, I'm originally from Southeast Michigan. We had a GameWorks at this mall called Great Lakes Crossing. And we were old enough to drink at the time. Because, I mean, what year was that game again? 99?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we were 21, I think. And we decided, hey, man, let's just go fuck around at GameWorks. We go in. We started to have a few drinks. Caught a buzz in the middle of the day. And their whole system was down. So everything in GameWorks was free to play. So they were having like, dude, so we totally rolled credits on House of the Dead 2, and to this day, I still talk to my homeboy about it, and I'm like, yo, you remember that time we rolled credits on House of the Dead 2? So every time he comes to visit me, we always roll credits on House of the Dead 2, and I'm like, we gotta fucking do it. You know what I mean? It's just it's a great game, man. It's a staple.
So good.
Yeah, that's an awesome story, Scan. I love it.
Thank you.
Fits in real quick. One of the things I love about the House of Dead franchise, and especially House of the Dead 2, is the branching paths during the game. So, like, we would play the game at, like, I think Dairy Queen had it, and so you're playing the game, and all of a sudden, you save this person, right? And you're like, oh, well, we go across the bridge. And then you die, and then my buddy plays, and then all of a sudden, he shoots the person, and he's like, oh, shoot. So then he has to go down the steps, and now he's down below, and he's taking a totally different path. We were blown away. We're like, this is so cool. So that's something that stands out, Jim, about House of the Dead to me, is those branching paths, saving the rescuers, and all that sort of stuff.
And
great point.
the alternate endings too.
That game at that time, when you saw the branching paths, it kind of made you think you were crazy, because you're like, did that just happen? That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like the Choose Your Own Adventure books back in elementary school.
Yep.
Mhm.
You choose death. You shoot the dude. Like, I want to go this other path. Sorry. Blow.
And it was cool, because when you died or when you beat the game, it would backtrack your entire path that you took. So then you can be like, whoa, there's a path in that level? I got to try to find that path.
Yeah, it's a great game. I was like you, Foster. I had it at launch, and as a matter of fact, I had it before launch because I imported. Some of you know this story. I imported a Dreamcast. I played an imported Dreamcast. I played imported House of the Dead 2 with the actual light gun. Like, I want to say 2 or 3 months prior to Dreamcast being like, dude, I sold so many freaking Dreamcasts and so many House of the Dead because it played so good. It was that and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 were the reasons why I got the Dreamcast at first. And House of the Dead 2, arcade perfect. It looked beautiful. Like, great choice, man. Great choice.
And House of the Dead 3, I played that first time on the Xbox, the OG Xbox. You guys have been talking about that?
Yep.
Although I played it with the controller, not as good.
Yeah.
So what I like about House of Dead 3 though, you don't have to shoot off screen, which is kind of cool. You can actually, it just automatically reloads. But the catch is, once again, it's because it's a shotgun type of thing. You gotta like a little gap there.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Next one up is Scantron. Scan.
Oh, me already?
Coming up already. I got to keep it straight, so you got to kind of roll around with me. I'm sorry, brother, but what do you got?
I am going to kick off my first pick with none other than Carnival.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
So Carnival is a beautifully done game. You guys know my affinity for Midway, and sadly, I can't say that I knew this game when it came out. I really didn't. Matter of fact, this is one of those games that, oh man, I even hate to admit this. I didn't know it existed until I got my Megacade.
Whoa.
That was 7 years ago.
Wow.
Now, that again, which ties into other, panel discussions we've had on that stuff, is if it weren't for the world of emulation and the type of arcade experience we have at home now, I wouldn't have known about it. But I have played the shit out of this game. This is a staple whenever we want to play a light gun game here. I think Carnival. Listen, man, I like things that are murderous. I like gore. I like things that push the boundaries. I think this game is a perfect example of all of those things. You get 3 different options. You can play the haunted house. You can play Rickety Town. You can play, what's the other one? There's 3 spots. You guys help me out with this. There's 3 spots
Circus?
you can play in this game.
Is that it?
Yeah, one of them is
Christmas.
one of them. Oh, Chris, there you go.
Oh,
yeah,
the Christmas
yeah.
one. That's right.
Krampus.
Is it? Yeah, there's
Krampus.
yeah. I just think a light gun game should have blood and gore in it. You're shooting people, for Christ's sake, so there should be blood.
There's
right?
no sweat, like the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat. The sweat coming out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is that sweat or is that baby
Nope.
batter?
Baby batter. Yeah. So, Scan, is it true that that game does not work with aim tracks though?
Oh, you guys know I grease the shit out of this thing with my aim track. There's no great. Listen, I got pinpoint accuracy with my aim track.
Yeah.
Aim tracks.
Yeah, such a good game, Scan. I'm not gonna talk about it too much, but I love that game. I think it's dope with the shotgun too. So if you guys get a chance to play it out in an arcade, the shotgun experience is a different experience. Having to reload it every single time you shoot, it is fantastic. But it plays great at home too.
Oh, dude, it'll give you carpal tunnel. So, like, the first time I ever played that game in the wild was when I went to Galloping Ghost Arcade for Combat Con back in 2017. And I was like, yo, I got to play Carnival. So, as much as I'm ashamed to say I didn't know that the game existed until I got my Megacade, I think that there's a lot to be said in a positive way about that as well. So, take it for what it is. Carnival is fucking awesome.
Take notes, you guys. Go ahead.
I just want to mention something based on what Scan said. So that's the beauty of the, arcade emulation experience, right? Like, that's what's so cool about going through, like scanning the wheel, finding something you never heard of before and discovering it and liking it, like that Carnival that you found. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. That's what this game is all about here.
I feel like horror and Halloween and all that stuff, I play it on those streams. Like, it's just such a good game. And, sadly, I wouldn't have known about it unless I came across it in the wild somewhere, which we all know it's few and far between. What are the odds of that?
Yeah.
Unless you're going to retro arcades. And, the alternative is finding it on something like this,
Yeah, and unlike Scan, I knew about the game when I was younger. But like Mortal Kombat, it's one of those where, should I be playing this game because of this blood and this violence and this gore because I was younger? So you kind of look around. Yeah, mom and dad's not looking. I'm going to play this quick.
Right. Yeah.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You want to play this?
Yep.
I don't know any of the facts. Like, I don't even know what year it came out. It had to be early 2000s, late 90s.
No, 90s.
Like
Yeah.
90s?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where I leave it to you guys, because you guys know a fuck ton more about that than I do.
I don't know. Wolf looks
that,
like he's.
that clown.
Yeah.
That clown with that like a '69 clown that Larson would love. That one's
Yep.
creepy as hell.
That's right. Cool. Right on. Good choice, Scan.
Thank you.
Next one up, I'm gonna go with Endgame Arcade.
All right. Well, when I think of light gun games, the first two franchises that come to mind are House of the Dead, like Jim already talked about, and the other one is Time Crisis. Time Crisis, to me, stood out among all the other games at the time because not only did you use your gun to shoot, but in most gun games, you point off screen to reload or you push the button. But Time Crisis, you use the pedal. And the pedal, you could not only reload, but you duck down behind cover. So the Namco created the levels and the boss fights to incorporate that. So like you use strategy. When do I duck behind cover? When do I stand up and shoot? And I just thought that was such an innovative thing at the time, and it really immersed you into the gameplay. The two games that I'm going to talk about real quick are Time Crisis 2 and Time Crisis 3, which came out on PlayStation 2 as well. And the reason why I like those games is because you could not only play one player, but two players, and they each had their own path. So player one could be behind the boss shooting it, while player two is on the other side of the boss shooting it. The boss would have certain attacks towards you. Then player two could like take them out while you're ducking behind cover, and you could use strategy. And I thought that was such a cool thing. And then real quick about the home console ports for PlayStation 2, it added a lot of additional modes, like the crisis mission mode, additional story modes where you could have like sniper levels where let's say you have 10 seconds to take out 5 enemies with 5 bullets in your sniper rifle. So it added a little extra gameplay at home. Whereas a lot of these arcade games were meant to be played in 30 minutes, 45 minutes because you're at an arcade. So I thought that was a really cool thing that the Time Crisis franchise did. Kind of like Tekken for the fighters. It would add all these extra modes to give you extra replay value. So what are you guys' thoughts on Time Crisis?
I love Time Crisis. I played the crap out of that. There's 2 games, My Local Fuddruckers, which is a burger place if nobody's heard of it.
I'm definitely
Still
familiar.
Wisconsin.
They have Virtua Racing, and they had Time Crisis 2. And I played the shit out of both of them.
Yep.
Dude, I was a big Time Crisis 3 fan. I have some good memories of my buddy and I playing that together. I play it on my arcade machine, but that will be a standalone that I get at some point when I have more space. I just don't have enough space. But Time Crisis 3 was a lot of good memories, and it's a great game. Like you said, Time Crisis, fantastic series. I mean, you know what's good. They're up to 5 now. I mean, if it wasn't good, they would have stopped, right? So
and spin-offs.
Yeah, like Raisin Storm and all that kind of stuff. I mean, so Crisis Mode, Crisis. Yeah, there's
Raisin
Storm. Yeah, so it's a great series. Thanks for bringing that up. Endgame, it's dope. Anybody else got Time Crisis stories?
I got a request, Larson. When are you and I going to try the multiplayer that Technoparrot maybe added?
Dual
over
support.
the internet. 2-player to Time Crisis 5.
Oh, that's definitely going to happen here soon because I totally forgot about it. Yep, it's going to
Me
happen,
too,
Adam.
so
There we go.
As I'm thinking about it.
Man, all right, taking notes. Not only are you out there, all 6 of you watching this show, taking notes on this, but we are also taking notes. We're going to make that happen, Adam.
Yeah, we got to do that. And we got to do that other new one, Railbreak. I haven't even tried that yet.
Yes. So many light gun games, so little time.
Exactly.
Oh, dude. I mean, real quick on Time Crisis. Once upon a time, in another life, I had a job where I worked for it was a cigarette machine, amusement, pool table, amusement company. So I was on a collection route. I was a young buck, and I had already accumulated a couple of my own dedicated arcade cabinets. And at the time, I was like, hey, why wouldn't I get a job doing something like this? So even though Time Crisis more than likely would have never been something I would have gravitated towards, the company that I worked for owned plenty of them. And we had to troubleshoot them when we were on site and stuff. So I definitely gained some affinity for Time Crisis just because the machines were machines that I used to have to collect and call on. And they are definitely all saved in my favorites wheel on my Megacade. And, like I said, just probably would have never gravitated towards a light gun game like that, but I like it and I definitely play it. So big ups to Time Crisis for sure.
One most underrated thing is everybody talks about the pedal, but what about the guns itself? I mean,
Yes.
the 24-volt slider on a gun. I mean, everything is nothing compares to it. I mean, you got the HAP guns that just don't do anything. The Sega guns don't do anything. But you want the ultimate gun that's for a pistol with a slider. It's got to be the Time Crisis. I mean, and even though they're go back 25 years, they're still the best guns.
Yep.
Hold on. Did you just Sinead O'Connor us by saying nothing compares? Was I the only one that heard that? I see what you're doing. Andy, lay at the smackdown. I saw you had something to say. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say that the pedal again to me was just so immersive, man. Like, seeing something flying at your face and then hitting that pedal so you can duck it and then come right back out and start shooting again. It was a bomb.
Well, and to play off that, Andy, is like the time is counting down, so you can't just use that as a crutch. You have to use it strategically. And the music. Anybody that played Time Crisis has to love that music. It's so intense. The ticker's counting down. You're just like, I got to come up and take these guys out. And then you had those certain enemies that were red or orange that you're like, oh, I have to take them out first because they're going to shoot lethal shots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. How about you, Wolfman?
What about me?
Oh, just seeing. Do you have any Time Crisis memories?
I wanted to kind of just shake my head because once again, I feel like the goddamn black sheep of this group. I feel like I'm, you always, but I'm just being honest. Time Crisis, I could take or leave. I got any light gun game I want to play, and I don't know. I'm not impressed.
You know what? I love the fact that you're so different. Like, all of us on here are different. Like, some of us like different games, some of us don't like different games. That's why we're all here, right? So you have a right to not like that game, and it's all good. And you can explain why. It wasn't for me. Okay.
Yeah, for whatever reason, and I all the reasons that Endgame talked about why he liked it, I think's awesome. I agree with Foster. The gun's amazing. It's just not one of the games that, I don't know, maybe it's the theme, or I never attached to it. I'll play it. Like, if a friend's over and asks to play it, or, we're hanging out somewhere, like in an arcade and there's one there, I'll definitely pump some quarters in and play, but it's not my go-to light gun game. It's not even like top 25 for me.
So you just don't have that gravitational pull to it. Yeah, there's just,
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm in another orbit, Dantron.
Yeah, you go, let me see. What do I want to play? Oh, Time Crisis. No, that doesn't ever pop into your brain.
Yep.
Like,
No.
Cool. Right on.
I can't, hey, listen, I understand what you're saying. Like I said, it's not a game I would have ever gravitated towards, but because I was around it, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with Time Crisis. I'm down with it, man. I got it saved, but
have another shot.
I understand. Yeah, this is only the beta.
Love you, brother. All right.
Well said.
Yeah, Andy, you're up.
All right. So my idea with the couple of games I selected, I wanted to go with something maybe that wasn't like the big ones you've heard of. So, the point of this to me is trying to get people to try something new that might be awesome. So the first one I want to get into is Blue Estate. I was introduced to this game by the group, and it's kind of the same theme as the other game I'm going to go into. Like, most light gun games are pretty cheesy in their story, and they're fun because they're so bad. Well, this one's like, it's a decent story, but it's really funny, and the characters are fantastic. You're trying to save a stripper named Cherry Pops. That's part of the story. And you're this slick talking, shoot 'em up, don't care, like East Coast accent guy. He's a fantastic character. Graphics are good. It kind of shows you what to pick, where to shoot, like your targets. It gives you accuracy bonuses. It's a pretty neat game. Definitely one to check out if you don't know about it.
Fantastic light gun game. Great game.
I agree. It is
Mhm.
Dantron approved. Actually,
Oh,
boom, big
seal
old stamp.
quality.
Dantron
quality.
approved. Blue Estate. Just play it. Just play. It's not for kids. I mean, just like this show,
Yep.
it's not necessarily for
that's
kids,
fair.
but that is really not for kids. You get to that
Yeah.
first mermaid, dude.
Yeah.
What is going on? Yeah.
When did that game come out? What year did that game come out?
Let's see.
19, I want to say. Was it
My
18?
God, 2020 something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a more modern game.
Adam's looking it up.
2015.
I didn't want to hit.
15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Very
That's
cool.
ancient.
And that's
times.
old now. Crazy.
Ancient times. Yeah. We dug it up. It was buried next to the pyramids. It just
It's almost 10 years. That's crazy to think that. That's just nuts.
yeah.
And
The
Leia,
dialogue is awesome too.
what?
The dialogue is awesome.
Oh yeah.
It is.
Oh yeah, that's probably the best part about it.
You guys,
You're
you
just
want to know
laughing
my
the whole
favorite
time.
part? My favorite part about that game is how he's got to like swipe his hair out of the
way.
Yeah.
You gotta swipe.
He's got that qua. He's got that qua. I can identify with that guy, man. Shit.
Where
That's
the
why I
hell
shake-
did this developer go? Because you click on it on Steam and they've done nothing else.
They don't need to. It's perfection. Look, you stop
Yeah.
at perfection, right? If you have that one perfect kid, you don't have another one. You know this is it. You're done.
You think so? I mean, where's the money grab? Where's the Blue Estate 2? That's worse than the first one. That's the thing. Like, they'll just sell they can shit in a
Worse than
box
the first
and then
one.
sell that, and they would sell millions.
If they made this game, I can tell you right now, they're coked out in the corner, surrounded by hookers, and they don't have time to actually make another game.
I don't know, man. They
I do.
should
That's
follow
what-
it up.
That's the stuff. Good choice.
Leia, one thing that I like about that game too, since it's a more modern game, is that the levels are a lot longer and the game itself is a lot longer. Whereas a lot of the games we're going to talk about are short and sweet because, like I said, it's an arcade experience. This was made for the PC. It wasn't in the arcade. It would be cool if it did
Good
make
point.
an arcade version.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Good point. That was my next question: is was it an arcade game? But you nailed that. So
Yeah,
typically something that takes you 2 hours to beat is not an arcade game.
dude.
Right.
Yeah, definitely get your arm workouts in before you start playing this one if you want to
that's-
be able to hold your arm up at the end of the day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you might as well just sit in a chair and just get your hand like this, because after
Yeah.
about 40 minutes, dude, my
Mhm.
arm is like ready to fall off. And I am pretty good conditioning when it comes to playing video games and holding up light guns, but that will freaking.
I thought you were going in a totally different direction with the conditioning of your arm.
strong like bull. Yeah. So yeah, good choice. Good choice.
So what's cool about that game too is they the community made a mod for it so you can have two players instead of just one player.
Yeah.
So that keeps it later. So that's one of those cool ones where the community actually added to it.
Yep.
It's very
Big
cool.
Fantastic
props
game.
to the community that came up with that. It added an entirely new dimension to that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's sick.
well, and like because like we were talking earlier, emulations coming back. People have home arcades in their house. It's a perfect game to add to it. So there's an audience more for it now. Whereas
Yeah.
if you didn't have these Sindens or these aim tracks or Gun for IR or any of that stuff, you would have to make a new gun to sell it on PS5. This game probably doesn't exist, without emulation and aim tracks and Sindens.
That's
It doesn't
true.
exist.
That's a good thing
Yeah.
to think about. When this came out, the only gun on the market was aim track and just weird one-off stuff. There wasn't this entire ecosystem of guns that we have that's developed.
We had the
over
Wii
last
guns.
12 months.
The Wii guns.
I
Would,
mean,
The Wiimote.
the Wiimotes would work too, but
kind of.
yeah. Yeah.
If you like your crosshair to drag across the screen like an old TF LCD panel.
I do.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't.
got ya.
Raise your hand.
We're all about it.
All right, Adam, you're up.
Oh, I'm up. Okay.
Yep.
So I think Scan and I are going to double team this one, but I'll start off with Area 51.
That's not appropriate. There's a family-friendly show. Hi,
Oh, I thought it
yeah,
wasn't
no
family
double
friendly.
Oh
teaming
God,
on
no.
the
We're
show.
gonna
Sorry.
No,
we're gonna
I'm
run
sorry.
a damn train on this
gosh
game,
darn
dude.
it. Human Centipede, no. All right, sorry.
Eiffel
Adam.
Two players,
Tower.
one cart.
Oh
Two
my
players,
gosh.
one cart.
Yeah. Gosh darn it. Two guys,
but
one game.
This is why I'm bringing this one up, because as a PC gaming individual. My cuts go deep, and I had this one on PC CD-ROM from back in the day, and I played this one with a mouse and keyboard.
Oh shit.
So that's my first experience with this game, and you got to go even further back because when this one came out, you had like every cable channel on TV was Area 51 this, Aliens that, Groom Lake, Site 4. Like there was Area 51 fever, like the 90s-ish. When the late 90s, when this hit, everybody was like the government. Everybody was wearing a tinfoil hat. Everybody wanted to go on vacation and check out Area 51, or maybe it was just me.
Oh, dude, no! Everyone wants to go to Area 51.
There was like a whole pop culture around this. Is my point. And my first experience was the PC game, and I didn't experience the arcade game until I want to say I was in college. So it was like at least 5 or 6 years after this came out, and all of a sudden I was like, "Whoa!" Someone made a machine out of that computer game.
Nice.
I got my wires crossed on that one. But,
It's funny.
yeah, so that's my experience with it because growing up, I played the heck out of it on PC, and I will say the PC side of it at this time in its development was nowhere near the same quality as the arcade. And that was another thing that shocked me is that I found an old arcade that looked better than the PC thing I played 5 or 6 years ago, which was just making my head explode as well. But yeah, Area 51. Scan, if you want to take it the rest of the way, if you had a story to go with that, you're up.
I don't have any significant childhood stories about Area 51. I just love the game. It's a staple light gun game. Like Wolfman, I gotta ask. You said Time Crisis isn't even your top 25. I understand that. Where do you think Area 51 ranks in your top 25?
36.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
This is getting brutal.
Damn.
No,
You
I'm
mean to
teasing. I like Area 51. I'd have to think about it. I'd have to, come up with my list that takes hours and hours to do. You can't put me on the spot like that.
I mean, we
Oh,
can.
shit.
It's okay.
Listen, asked and answered, I guess.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
no, I don't have any significant stories. It's a midway game. It's a badass arcade game. Simple. I like how you can select your chapters. And by the way, Bauer, can you do that on the PC version that you had? Can you select chapters?
It was a really good, basically, from what I remember, because I have not fired this up, of course, as a PC version in a long time, but it was a very faithful arcade port where you had the same split, pick your adventure right when it booted up, and you just went in, and there was like hardly any settings. It just straight good old PC port that didn't give you much options,
Yep.
enhanced content or anything like that. Now, actually, like I said, it was graphically inferior, but otherwise the same game.
Yeah. And I mean, even the arcade version is kind of graphically inferior, but, so I'll say that. But, like, it was simple. It was great. I agree. I like anything that's, like, alien related, anything that's conspiracy related. Area 51 is an actual place. It's like, I'll say the only story that I have that's loosely related to it is I remember we were on a West Coast tour one year with my band, and we were driving through Roswell, New Mexico in the middle of the night. So, like, when you're trying to get to the next city, we just all were like, man, this is fucking sweet, dude. This is eerie as fuck. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning out there. Stars are bright as shit, and we're driving through Roswell, New Mexico. And so, of course, all the conspiracy shit comes up, and I'm just like, yo, you guys ever played Area 51? You know what I mean?
Nice.
But it's just a great game, man. Staple. I'm with it.
Yeah, I pick it up all the time. Like when I fire up the machine, I feel like playing a light gun game. I don't know if it's because it's in alphabetical order, but I always end up playing it. It's like
It's a tester. It's the game you test everything on, dude.
very true, because you can tell real quick, if you got your aspect ratio off or you're not hitting your corners or whatever. That first, 4 clicks, you'd be like, this is crap. It was actually, Jim, if you remember, when you were saying you were an early backer on the Sindens, and you famously sent your Sinden to me right after you got it, and that was the first game I tested because I knew it so well. It was like the back of my hand, and that was like the holy cow moment. I'm not dragging the crosshair across the screen. It's like point and click. and you can turn the crosshair off. Like, it's crazy to think that we've had, the light guns we've had haven't had that ability until 4-ish years ago, right? 2020, I think,
Yeah.
for the Sinden, where it was fast enough, accurate enough, latency was low enough where you could actually turn the crosshairs off like the original arcade game.
Yeah, like there should be a warning if you're playing with Amtrak, like, are you sure you want to turn the crosshair off?
Yeah, ask twice.
It's a good point.
Yeah, that's such a good game, dude. I like, it reminds me of They Live too. You guys remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
that's the look of the aliens. So
Mhm.
they weren't like normal looking aliens with the big eyes and stuff. They were more like skeleton aliens, which they were a little gorier, a little scarier looking. The colors were bright. Again, it was fast. I liked how it had like the power ups. Some of them would like spin and stuff, so it had like a weird 3-dimensional aspect. Things were dropping from the ceilings and not just popping up from behind things. You had like
Right.
helicopters. I mean,
Right.
there was so much variety in that game, and that's what I loved about it. So that's a great choice, dude. Great choice.
Before we move on, does anybody in this group have anything to say about Maximum Force, that paired? I don't know if it was a paired game
Oh, yeah, they
or
put
a
them together.
sequel or like a DLC when there wasn't really DLC. Like, I still don't even know the exact history of Maximum Force or Dual Force or whatever it's called, but I know it's always paired with Area 51.
I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan. It reminds me of another game that I feel like it reminds me of Lethal Enforcers a bit more. Like, am I right in saying that? Like, it's kind of got the Lethal Enforcer type vibe to it.
Yep.
The video, the full motion video. Yeah, like over there.
Yeah.
So good. Right on. All right. Anybody else got anything on Area 51? We know we don't have Site 4 yet. If you guys get an opportunity to play that though on the arcade, do it. It's great.
I would love to.
Yeah, it's
Me
just
too.
Area 51 only plus Ultra. So it's a lot. It's good. All right. Well, next person up then. Guess what? He's looking at me all weird. Wolfman, we're ready. It's your turn, my
All
friend.
right.
I'm excited. Bring in the heat.
All right, so this game is the antithesis of what Andy said with Blue Estate. Blue Estate had it like a pretty decent story for a light gun game. You said it was long, PC game. This is the opposite. This came out in the arcades. I want to say I played it Christmas 2000. So it's a long time ago, and I gravitated towards it. It has one of the worst stories you could ever imagine. You play as Michael and Albert, the ambiguously gay vampire duo. The game is called Vampire Night, and it is, I think it's a hidden gem. The dialogue is as bad as some of the Castlevania games. What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. Like, what the hell did Dracula just say?
Dude,
It's like,
it's so good.
it is awful. Well, I loved it so much, I had to have it. So this is my sealed copy with the light gun. Vampire Night also came out, obviously, for PS2. I have a open copy for PS2. I love it. It gives me kind of like Castlevania-esque vibes. Just a fun game, quirky, on rails. It used the House of the Dead engine. So if you like any of the House of the Dead games, you'd like this game. And quite frankly, I didn't think it was very popular, and I don't think a lot of people had played it or even heard of it. But I think it's a must play, and you could beat it in like an hour and 15 minutes or something, an hour and 10 minutes. And it's just the dialogue is so bad. It's so bad. It's great. It's become a classic in my mind.
I was gonna say, Wolf. The reason why you weren't selling us on it at the beginning. I mean,
No.
yeah, I was not excited about it at the beginning. But then,
With Michael and Albert.
Yeah, but you brought it around at the end, and I was like,
Oh, good.
okay, now I get it. It's kind of like those people that like, what is it? Not Grand Theft Auto, what is it? I don't know. Saints Row. It's kind of like that. So the people that like that kind of quirkiness, you like Time Crisis or House of the Dead, but then if you like the other stuff, Vampire Night. I'm excited. I'm gonna try it now. You got me sold.
Yeah.
Right at the
It's
end.
definitely worth playing. I mean, I would think that light gun game is on most drives, light gun drives. Like I said, it's on PS2. It's a fun game. If you haven't played it, I challenge you to play it. You will laugh your way through it and have a good time. And it's broken into chapters, and it plays just like kind of the House of the Dead games. And I don't know, it's cool. There's like an epic boss battle with it's supposed to be Dracula, but he's called the Vampire towards the end of the game. And it's it's really cool. And you could save people just like the House of the Dead games, branching paths. It's got that gothic Castlevania vibe. So definitely cool game.
I'm playing
So,
it this
Wolf,
weekend. I'm playing it.
Quick question. On the PS2, is that GunCon 2 or 3? What's in the
That
box?
is GunCon 2.
Okay, so
Two?
gotcha.
Yep.
The one with the D-pad on the back.
Yes, exactly. The orange.
Okay.
Yep. That's it. The one
Cool.
Endgame's holding up. That's it.
Yeah, just curious. I was out of the console thing by then, so I'm still trying to wrap my head around the timeline of this stuff.
Yeah. So it's Arcade 2000 and then ported to PS2 in 2001.
Okay, so it did have an arcade release.
Oh yeah. That's
Oh,
where I played it
wow.
first. I
That was
played it
That's
in
it.
the
We're gonna
arcade
find it
first.
now. We're
Yeah,
going-
I've never seen that cabinet.
Oh
I
yeah.
need to see
In the
that.
arcade 2000 and then ported to PS2
It's
2001.
It's where
sometime.
Cruising Exotica is right now. It's like one of the two
Oh.
that nobody's done. Go ahead, Adam. You
That
found
has. I wish we could do share screen or whatever. This is a
But
really.
you can.
cool
You
looking cabinet.
you could share a screen. Do it.
Let me get that ready so we can see a nice image of it. Here, let me pull this up because that's a really cool cabinet. Let me get how about that?
I don't fuck around, Adam.
Yep, we got
I
that.
know you.
Yeah.
I love it. Sorry, I got like a weird. Let me find a really good high quality version of it so we can share on stream.
Well,
Is
this
this-
isn't a high quality stream, so I mean,
No,
you'll be all right.
Let's try to practice some professionalism in the craft. How about that?
I almost asked if this was an arcade game, but I was like, I don't want to look like a dumb fuck. He said it takes an hour and 15 minutes to beat it.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna,
Yeah, it's a lot of
see
fun.
here. There we go. How about that? Did that work?
Yep.
Yes,
we're
it
up.
did.
There
Look
it is.
at
Oh,
that.
As
Nice.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah,
Like that's a very unique, the plastic molding and then
Yeah.
the speaker grill underneath the marquee or whatever that is.
yeah,
that
that's
almost
cool.
looks widescreen natively. If that's not a stretched image, I'm not sure
It
because I
doesn't
think
look like it's
PS2
stretched.
Oh yeah, it's hard to tell from this image because didn't PS2 allow you to switch natively from 4:3 to 16:9?
yes.
So it could have been 16:9 in the arcade. Is my point.
Yeah.
But
It's Namco, and those look like pretty thick cords. You think those are the sliding actions as well?
it looks like
Could
it
be.
from
Yep.
yeah, definitely looks like Time Crisis 2 style guns.
Yeah.
That
The jolts.
that
Not-
marquee is dope too.
It really is.
Mhm.
Now I've got to check like what's on our drives and make sure the artwork is up to par because I don't think I've ever seen this cabinet.
That's all right.
Or-
Wolfman dropping bangers on us again.
So
That's what I
all-
do.
Oh,
So the guns are not
Banging all
the
over
guns
the
aren't
place.
blue and pink. They're just blue and blue. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
blue and blue. Yeah, it's a really neat looking cabinet.
Banging us everywhere. All right. Okay, so I'm up now. Unless anybody else has something on Vampire Knight, I never played that game, so I'm gonna play it.
Cool.
I'm excited. I'm actually excited to check that one out. But going
Yep, me too.
kind of along those lines, I like that cabinet. Now, if you've watched any of our episodes before, I'm going to talk about a game that I've talked about before, but I really don't care because it is that freaking good, and I don't care if people hear me say it over and over again because sooner or later, you all, like I said, all 4 or 5 of you that are watching this, you're going to walk past an arcade and you're going to see this one and go, you know what? Some bald nerd guy told me I should probably go and try this game out, and you know what? You will not be disappointed. It is Dark Escape 4D.
Ooh.
Dude,
That's
Oh, yeah.
Dark
Yep.
is. I'm not gonna belabor it too much because I've talked about it enough, and I'm just gonna end up growing hair again. Though Dark Escape 4D is so freaking dope. It's a huge.
Keep talking
cabinet.
about it. Keep talking about it.
Dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I know I'm at the talk
Prove
about
it.
it until So the cabinet itself is a work of art. Like if anybody has seen the cabinet for this game, it is freaking beautiful. I have not seen a shooter cabinet that looks better than this cabinet. It is freaking amazing with like the columns that are on the side. And this is, I'm not even talking about the game. I'm just talking about you see in the cabinet. It's going to draw you in. It has nice blackout kind of curtains that are on the side, but not, you know, not totally blackout, but curtains on the side usually. You get inside there. Oh, Adam's already thrown it up. There it is. I mean, dude, it
Awesome.
it is freaking amazing, that cabinet. So the cabinet is awesome, but the game itself even more so. You get in there. Why do they call it 4D? It's because it's not just a 3D game, which you got glasses that you put on. It's 3D, and it's constantly throwing stuff at the screen, but it also has air burst guns that kind of will shoot puffs of air at you. So when stuff is flying at you, it'll shoot a puff of air, and it actually feels like something's flying at your face. Yeah, you're sitting on this huge bench. I can sit comfortably with two huge guys sitting next to me. So yeah, it's a big cabinet. So even if you're a big boy, you got plenty of room in there to play. They're mounted guns, so you don't have to worry about your arms getting too tired. And you got the, what is it? The first one is the 3D aspect. The second is the air. The third is the rumble on the seat. The seat actually rumbles. It's not just like a speaker underneath it. There's an actual motor. I did help assemble one of these. My buddy owns one, and so there is actually a rumble motor underneath the seat, like with actual shock absorbers and stuff. It's freaking crazy. And then also the last aspect of it is the guns had by default heartbeat sensors in them, and it would actually measure your heartbeat, kind of like workout equipment. And if your heartbeat got up to a certain point, it would actually change the path on you. So it would change the path based upon the heartbeat, but it would also change the path if you found little cameras. You could shoot these cameras that are up around in certain areas you'd pass through, because the bad guy is watching you the whole time. So you shoot these cameras out, and based upon how scared you are, what cameras you shoot will change the way that the courses go. And I want to say there's something like 12 or 13 different endings in this game. It's awesome. And because it's a mounted gun, you can't play through all of it like what Wolfman said, like in an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes. No, you can't. It's gonna, if you go really fast, it's maybe an hour and a half. But it's for a arcade game, it's freaking long. And I know that, so a lot of times people go, Dantron, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Maybe I'll play it at some point. The friends that I've been able to, we met a couple of times, you know, a group of goofballs and I have got together, and we found it, and I say, try this game. They're like, all right, let me try it out. As a matter of fact, Foster, you were one of them. Tell us, what did you think?
So yeah, well, I was with Rimmer, who actually bought it after we were done, and we sat there for an hour and a half, and we played that thing, and it was just crazy. So it was just crazy, and he ended up buying one, but we sat there for an hour and a half. We were sweating and stuff, and just
Sweating.
the spiders and shit that come out at you. It's like crazy. I mean, there's spiders, there's zombies, there's monsters, but the jump scares and shit, and you jump, each person jumps, you look at each other, and also you get like a big blast of air hit your face, your ass is rumbling. Oh my God, it was crazy. And after we were done, we're looking at each other, and we're sweating and stuff, and he's like, I gotta get this. And sure enough, 3 months later, he buys it. You go down and help him set it up. But it was like, so the 2 times I've actually, the last 2 years I played a game all the way through. It was with Jamie. We played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And the first time was with Rimmer, playing all the way through 4D. We did not stop. We would go all the way through. Then we get to the end, and we didn't save the person, and had all these different things. We wanted to play it again just so we could save her. So
That's awesome.
It's a great game. And you can play it emulated. You can. It's out there. When all of us, I'm sure, have played it. It's not the same as playing it in the cabinet. Emulated is still great, but it's just it's more of just an arcade shooter, a zombie arcade shooter. You play it in that cabinet, it is something special. I have not experienced anything like that before, and that's what Foster was just talking about. Him and Rimmer, when you play it, yeah, you're going to be sweating your butt off, but you're going to go, that was an experience, like an actual video game experience. So
I love that sweating is one of the key elements of the game.
Yep.
Oh yeah, true though.
It's basically like a fucking champagne room without the happy ending in that thing.
It's got a curtain. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
A little butt sweat never hurt anybody.
Oh my gosh, so good. All right. Sorry about that. Again, talking about Dark Escape, but I'll keep talking about it until I freaking die. That game is awesome.
No, Larson did a good job. I'm looking at this cabinet picture that I shared earlier, and you hit them all right on the cabinet. It's got 3D, vibration, air, surround sound, and panic sensor, and you hit them all. So,
Nice.
And the graphics are amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, the graphics are amazing because they're scary. They're like creepy, scary, nightmarish, you
Yep.
know, alien type shit.
Dude, the sound is super loud too. That's something that they didn't talk
Super
about.
loud.
Inside there, the sound is crazy because the cabinet itself, the sound, the way it reverberates in there, and the way that you can like hear echoing in the distance, and all of a sudden, something jumps out on the other side, and you're like, oh my god.
Yep. It's one of those cabinets that it's an experience-based cabinet where because the air, the vibration, the sound, the visuals, because it's 4D, you got the goggles on if you got that version.
Yep.
It all combines to like make you check your shorts when you're done.
Dude, you know what? I'm recording some gameplay of us playing that in another couple of months. I'm just telling you, it's gonna get posted up. It's so
yeah,
freaking
you're right.
good,
We'll have
dude.
an opportunity. We should come up with some tournament style rules around that because we'll have a real one
Yeah.
that's disposable for a
Dude.
good amount of time.
Yeah,
And
have
just
to play that.
just wait until you get there too. And so Rimmer's is special. We'll just put this aside, but because he has an infrared camera that we put inside there and a screen up top. So if you're on the outside of the cabinet, you can actually see what's going on inside the dark of the cabinet itself. And it adds to the centerpiece type of machine it is. And it's great. I can't wait. You guys are gonna enjoy it so much.
And I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but he had a sensor. Both guns have the sensors working, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
so-
so one has a dummy sensor because they don't make those sensors anymore. You
That's
have
what
to
it was.
actually you can fix the sensors, but you have to know how to solder delicate circuitry, and I know you do. So he still has it. I put it in a special box, and we can talk about it when we get there. But yeah, you can't really get those sensors new anymore. They don't make them. So if you
Okay.
do have those sensors, let us know. I'm sure I got a guy that would take some. So
Definitely. And also, let's put a note to remind me, like, do we need oscilloscope level soldering, or is it just, small stuff like simple
probably,
circuit?
but Rimmer, I'm sure has that stuff, and if he doesn't, he'll buy it.
Yeah, he might.
And then he'll just
Yeah, he
return
might.
it. It's whatever. It's fine. We YOLO that stuff all day. So
Hey, I'll try. Not promising, but I'll try.
right.
Let's get her
I
done.
just want to add something too, real quick, to what Foster said about the sweat. I know it sounds like you think he's talking in hyperbole. I think it was in Vegas. I was playing with Horton.
Mhm.
We were playing Dark Escape 4D, and I never saw somebody sweat as much in my life. He looked like the creature from the Black Lagoon, just getting out of the lagoon. He was covered, and his arm kept bumping into me, and I kept like kind of moving away because it was all like greasy and stuff. It was intense. I was sweating, but not like at that. That was ridiculous. That was another level.
Fucking hilarious.
And that could be why his feet stunk like
Oh my
garbage
God.
at night. Because it's the amount that he sweat during the game.
He who is not
to
here
defend
will
himself.
be
That's pretty
protected.
rough.
He's not even here to defend himself. It's like, oh,
There's nothing to defend. It's all true. There's no defense.
oh my gosh.
He's guilty as charged.
Yeah. Well,
All
I'm
right.
greasy too. I don't necessarily think, but I'm greasy.
Oh,
So
Dan, real quick to circle back. So I've never actually played it on the actual arcade. I've only played it through emulation.
and
another
game
cool thing-
disconnected.
No, but this is the cool thing about emulation, kind of
Yep.
like what Scan said earlier about Carnival. I've played it, really enjoyed it, like on the arcade or on emulation, but now I'm going to get to experience it in the actual cabinet, and I'm so excited because I love it as is, and it's going to blow me away. you know?
Yeah.
So that like Scan said earlier, that's what's awesome about emulation. It's not just to play the games that you love from your past, but the games that you missed out on that aren't in the arcades as often, anymore.
Totally agree, man.
Mhm.
That's facts, big time.
Okay, we're starting up our last round. One more time around. Jim, give us the good.
So obviously, a little hint here. It was about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. I was on Craigslist, and this popped up on Craigslist for the beautiful price of $2,000. It's a Terminator Salvation, and it was during Thanksgiving, so I was off for the week for Thanksgiving, and I was at my buddy's house, who from Bakersfield, and he's the one that did Hyperspin and Jeremy from Emu Movies. So I ordered it, and they said, "Hey Foster, if you order it, we'll help you redecal it and stuff." So I said, "Oh yeah," because it was in rough shape. I mean, rough shape. The eyes didn't light up. It needed LEDs. We had to re-mold it, and we had to put in the decals. So I ordered the decals. The guy brought it in, and even the guns were rough. So I put in with parts and everything, because the guns at the time from Benson were like $300 a piece. So I put in probably about $800 in different stuff, and it literally looks brand new. But here's the thing about this game. It's just why I even bought it in the first place. Number one, it's a piece of art. I mean, when people walk in and they see it, and they see the teeth, the Terminator light up and stuff, they're like, "Holy crap!" That's number one. The game is fun, but the second biggest thing, in my opinion, up to that point of when this is made, the best guns ever.
Yes.
Okay, because you had the butt where you for reload. It had literally, what happens is it's got a if you ever pull one apart, it's got a bar, and basically against the butt of the machine. So when you shoot something, it'll look like a machine, like a shotgun. Boom, boom, boom. It'll do like a machine gun. And the solenoid would actually do a very hard kickback. So the gun is awesome. It looks like a piece of art. And then third, the most important thing, the game is fun as hell. Okay. So you put all those three together, and I was building my game room here, and you literally you can't pick at the time a better looking game for a game room than Terminator. So because it's fun.
Dude, it's killer.
Yep.
And it's got the Terminator topper on it. I mean, it's just incredible.
Show it off, man. Is that in the background?
Yeah, that's in the background. So like I said, let me get my thing here. Hold on, I'll show it off.
And Jim, aren't those guns also used in the Aliens Armageddon game? Yeah, they're really good. They're like
they basically reskin the Alien Armageddon game from this. I mean, it's very similar cabinet, but the guns are the same. The sensors, let me show. It's kind of cool too, because how they did the sensors. Because hold on, let me mute real quick. Get out my chair.
We're getting that pinball look too. Oh man,
yeah,
that's a different
episode.
Man,
that's what it's all about. When you're on
I see an X-Men poster back there.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Little heat vent action. Yeah.
So I just put that topper in for Medieval Madness.
So cool.
That's an original Medieval Madness. I don't know if this still works here. So check this out. I don't know if you see this.
I thought this was a light gun special, not Jim's arcade.
I can't help it. I'm like a moth to a flame. I see pretty. And
damn,
I'm like,
look at
just
those
show it to me.
guns light up.
Like, you can't talk about the game and not show it off in your own fucking game room, man. Look at that.
That's amazing.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
So here's the thing. Believe it or not, this is before like you said, gun for IR everything. This right here is a whole array of LED.
Yeah,
you can kind of see them. See them in the.
Right?
Yeah.
You had a certain angle. You can see them all light up. There's like at least 4 up there, right?
Yeah, it's like 6 of them. And check this out. It's kind of like aim track, but obviously with a lot more. And the guns are hell of accurate because there's so many LEDs on there.
That's awesome.
So,
super cool.
But so for about $1,000 and some elbow grease from my friends, I literally took a beat up Terminator 2 and made it into a brand new looking. I mean, it looks brand new.
It looks amazing.
So
it looks awesome, Jim. That's definitely a showstopper.
And it's a great game too. Yeah, like you said, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but it is a beautiful look at that thing. It is a beautiful looking game.
I mean, look at the detail. So, Jim, I don't know if I could see it close up, but on the side of the display, the upper part of the cabinet, are those accents, top and bottom, plastic pieces?
Yes, they're plastic accents, like make it look like there is arms.
Yeah.
So they come down. It's got, believe it or not, and when you break it apart, it comes in casters. So there's like 2 casters on the front part and another set of 2 casters on the front back part. So you can literally, it's bolted together. So it's easy to move, because I know it looks kind of cumbersome, but it's easier to move. And so here's what I just did last week too. When I did the topper for my Medieval Madness. It comes with these fans in the back to cool it down, and Jesus Christ, it sounded like a leaf blower, right?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they were just like, what the hell? So I put some computer fans in there, like the Be Quiet, the way you call it, the Be Quiet brand,
Oh, yeah, those are really good.
and you can't even hear it now. But it sounded like we turned it on, like literally somebody was blowing leaves in the front yard.
Got some Be Quiet, Silent Wings 2 or 3. Those are great fans. Those are really quiet. No,
Yeah, the only,
I'm glad you were able to move your camera to see it in person because this image doesn't do it justice with
No.
the lighting.
No.
The
Not
lighting
at all.
alone on that thing. I just pulled this up because I wanted to see all the artwork. But I mean, it was just really cool to see yours on your camera as well.
yeah, no,
Well,
the guns are awesome too, just amazing. I mean, because it's got that bar, and it literally you can do. I'm sure with name hooker, if you had a gun like it, it would do the same thing. But you can. There's a shotgun. It does like a automatic gun, and it does a semi-automatic kind of feel to
Yeah, and
it.
it adjusts the impact of the recoil, right? Yeah, so the
Yes.
shotgun's gonna kick your shoulder harder than the automatic.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
Damn.
yes.
The
So in fact,
detail.
in fact, Arcade Adam, when you showed the retro shooter shotgun, not shotgun, the
The-
gun.
Yeah, I think they're a copy of the Ghost Recon guns. They're an MP5. They're the retro shooter company calls them MX-24s, but automatic, submachine gun, smaller than these, I think, right? A little shorter.
Yeah, but what's cool is they use the same mechanism where it's got a rod inside of it.
Yeah, so it actually
Which is
kicks right
preferred.
at your shoulder.
I see you,
Yes.
Andy. I see you, Layup. Don't be talking about rods. It's fine. Control
Yeah,
it.
man, and this kind of goes back to the. I mean, I've brought this up countless times in other streams, and the fact that you have an OG dedicated cabinet, and I always say this, man. If you're an arcade, if you love home game rooms, barcades, if you have the opportunity to buy and own an OG dedicated cabinet, I don't care what it is, always do it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go wrong, and that is a killer. You don't even have to play the damn thing. Just fucking look at it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Piece of art.
Thing of beauty, man.
Well,
Agreed.
and you're fighting in the future and stuff like that. So if you have the lights out and those red lights are flashing and stuff, that would be epic.
Oh, dude. Oh, that's why I keep my game room darker. I mean, the only thing I like to have lit up is from the games in my room. You know?
Yeah, that's the generation we grew up in, though, Scan. Right? I mean, that's what the arcades were. The arcades were just
Absolutely.
they kept the lights off, and then they had all the
Dude.
light from the machines that were on. And so that's
Bro.
again, that's why I do what I do the way I do it. Right?
Absolutely, man. It's like put me in a cave and just let the ambiance take over, dude. That's what it was, man. You're exactly right.
You know. And Scan, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You're up, brother.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. So my second pick is the best, worst light gun game of all time. But again, horror, bloody, don't play it in front of kids, but we're going to go with Chiller.
Yeah, I knew it.
I knew that.
Chiller. You knew that? You knew that was going to be my pick? I didn't
Yep.
say shit. Oh, dude.
I
Chiller.
texted Larson just for proof too.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
that's
texted me,
awesome.
"You see that big chiller?" Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Dude,
played it on your stream a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That came up
I
on the
mean-
stream at least twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a horrible, awesome light gun game, and I don't even know the true history behind it. Isn't it something that was? Is it fan made or is it something that was modified? Because it uses a lot of the same sounds from that crossbow game and other games that are in the same vein. It's just, when you boot it up and the ROM check, it has that shrieking scream on it. And it's all like the sound is horrible, and you're shooting legs and body parts. It's just torture chamber freaking. What psychotic piece of shit made this game? You know what I mean?
Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So weird.
The wiki page says it had a really poor reception with arcade operators in North America because it was so violent and gory, and it had the most success in third world countries. But it doesn't mention much about the development.
It was ported for Nintendo. I have the Nintendo game, which sucks compared to the arcade
Oh.
version.
I didn't know it had it.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it says
Yeah, it's a Nintendo game.
Dude, I don't know what, I think it's I feel like I don't know, watching some snuff porn while I'm playing this game. It's like, and not to say I'm into anything like that. I just like gory games, and it's just a great shock factor. The graphics are horrible. I feel like I popped the Nintendo cartridge in and I'm shooting legs off and they're ripping bodies in half. It's just, I like the shock value of it. Everybody knows what it is. If you even know a half a piece about anything about arcade related gun games. So Chiller, that's my second pick. Anyone got anything to add to it, lay it on me, because I really truly don't know much about the game. I just like the game.
Publisher was Exidy, and the NES cartridge was an unlicensed port.
Oh.
Yep.
I will. That's crazy. I will say for Chiller, I'm gonna Wolfman out on this one and say I never could really get into that one. But again, I'm the weird one that doesn't like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, there's a point and violence where I just kind of like, but I do like the shock factor. So I will throw it on from time to time when I really want to, like, say my mother-in-law's here or something like that. And just like put it on. You know what I'm saying? Just the shock factor, you know. But it's not one of those ones that I'll be playing around my kids per se. I mean, I not that I'm worried about it. It's just I don't get off on shooting a dude in the face, like, and then seeing his face blow apart. And he's still screaming at me like, please stop. You know, but again, I still will play it for the shock factor, but there's something else. But like I said, I'm kind of more like, I'm going to go Wolf on this one and go, it's not exactly my favorite. I do know the game. I have played it quite a bit. It's just, you know, it's not going to be one that I'm going to fire up, you know, in front of my, you know, grandparents. So
all of these answers are completely fair, and that's why I prefaced it with the best, worst light gun game, because that's pretty much what we're talking about here. Like, if we're going to go for the award for one of the shittiest but shock factor best type of weirdo niche games, that's it.
Yeah. For
Scantron,
sure.
the game
Say,
that it kind of compares me up for fighters, you know, like you had Mortal Kombat, which was an excellent fighter with shock value. But do you guys remember a game called like Thrill Kill, which was like some unreleased
for PS1?
Oh, it's like garbage, but it's shocking, and they have all this like crazy stuff. That's what Chiller kind of reminds me of.
Manhunt.
It had its place. You should know about it, but it's not the best game.
Well,
do not get it twisted. I'm not in my game room playing Chiller every weekend by any stretch. But I'll break it out on a stream. It's perfect for I'm a big Halloween guy when I do my Halloween streams, which I probably should do one this year. It's a staple. It's got to be played on stuff like that. But yeah,
for sure.
That's my pick. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that probably have no idea that game exists.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there, bro, for sure.
They know now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Thrill Kill goes. That's a deep cut, man. There's some craziness on the wiki page for this game too.
Yeah, that's what Chiller reminds me of. Like a game like, how did this actually come out? Shouldn't that have been canceled or banned?
Dude, same thing for Mortal Kombat. How did this come out? I mean, it's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, like, there were no rules.
Excellent.
No rules back then. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm just kind of weird, and I just watched a murder documentary, and I feel like making a video game. Let's just do this one. Yeah. It puts the lotion on the skin.
It's so weird, and it's got bad graphics, but even with the bad graphics, like, it's still like extremely grotesque. Like, every time like Scan does it on his Halloween stream, like, I always get this queasy feeling in my stomach. Like, it's just so fucking gross, and like, I wish I was a murderer person. Like, that's what it makes it feel like, you know, like, it's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah,
it is. You honestly don't really feel right while you're even playing it.
So you gotta twist it in your brain. So you gotta like put a spin on it. Like, oh, you know what? This guy's diabetic and he has a problem with his foot. So I'm gonna shoot his foot off to help him out, right? So you can put the positive spin on, you know, like.
Oh God.
That's why I feel like you're in this.
I got glaucoma. Shoot me in the eye.
Put some weed in it. It puts the weed in the eye.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's just, you feel like you're in this seedy underbelly, dark web. Like, you don't feel like you should be playing it, and that's the thing that makes me be like, hey, I should play it once in a while, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Perfect.
it's just black sheep type shit. But yeah, don't think any differently of me about it. It's just
Oh,
it's
no,
a
we won't.
game, and it exists.
We
So
won't. Awesome pick, Scan. I laughed I haven't laughed that much about Chiller in a long time. So thanks, man. All right, end game. You're up, brother.
All right, so the next game I played at Chuck E. Cheese. So Chiller was not next to it. Let's just say that.
sure as hell wasn't.
Yeah, the
So
Rat
we were there for a
Casino
birthday
pizza.
party. Yeah, we were there for a birthday party, and they have their crappy ticket games and stuff. And I'm like, this game's probably not going to be any good. But surprisingly, I actually had a lot of fun with it. And the game is called Dead Storm Pirates. And it has Pirates of the Caribbean type vibe. It's more fun, lighthearted, the opposite of Scan's game. And basically, you're going on this massive treasure quest. And one thing that I thought was really cool about the cabinet is there's like a big boxed-in cabinet, which maybe Adam can pull up in a little bit here. That is not as cool as the Dark Escape, but the one that I played was this, where it has like a steering wheel for your ship, that red part in the middle. So there's certain elements and certain parts where you actually have to steer a ship. And then you also have to shoot things, like shoot your cannons and stuff like that. But then there's also where you board ships, and you have like a normal light gun game where you're just shooting pirates and stuff like that. And one thing that I thought was, that's pretty sweet. Do you have that where that actually works with Dead Storm Pirates?
The Namco 357 version. I was actually
awesome.
thankful to be in the group that developed that emulator, and I talked about how this was an input. And they actually helped me make this work, because at first it was too sensitive and they dialed it in. I worked with the developer to help dial that in a little bit. So they made this work. This is just an old Griffin PowerMate mouse, USB mouse adapter thing that I 3D printed a pirate wheel for.
That's
so it's
fantastic.
Great input. This emulates the real cabinets so well. I don't know if you've seen my YouTube short on it, but it's a ton of fun.
Oh, I need to watch it. That's fantastic. Yeah, because you use that for not only like steering the ship, but then there's this awesome like mine cart where the snake's chasing you and it's like a big boss battle, and you have to use that wheel to avoid obstacles and stuff and battle the snake. Oh, that's fantastic, Adam. And then another cool thing about this game, which other light gun games have as well, is when you're playing 2-player, if you're both focusing on the same point on the screen, you do maximum damage to the enemy. So like, let's say an enemy's carrying a shield. If you both shoot that shield, you're going to destroy it instantly. But if one person's shooting it, one person's doing cover, then it's going to take a lot longer. So it really rewards that teamwork and strategy. And I thought that was a really cool thing about the game as well. And then a couple quick points. There was a special edition of the game that added 2 additional levels, which was really cool. Both of those levels were extended levels with new scenarios in it. And then there is a sequel over in Japan that's recently come out or is in the works. So hopefully eventually we'll get that over in the States here as well.
Yep.
Please.
And I think I found this cabinet, but there's also an experience-based one, kind of like
Yes.
Dark
It has a
Escape.
boat on the back. It was like the back
That's
of a
right.
ship.
Yep. Yeah, that
Almost
should be
like
on
the
floor,
Jurassic
too.
Park. It's like the newer Jurassic Park cabinet. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
That's cool, man.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it was just one of those, you're at Chuck E. Cheese, you're not expecting too much. They got skee ball and all that sort of stuff. So when we played that, I'm like, what's this little wheel thing? I'm like, oh, this is immersive. This is cool.
Great choice.
Oh wow, this experience-based cabinet is cooler than I remember. Actually,
It's super cool, dude. What
Look at
was it that they played? There was one at Game Nest, I think. I think there was one at Game
Yes.
Nest.
Yeah, Game Nest had it.
Yeah, dude, it's so good.
Zoom
By the way-
is throwing me errors. Is that coming up for you guys?
No, it's
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah, we see it. We see it.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
yeah. We
But
see.
yeah, Game Nest had a great.
Yeah, check out Game. I think we might have lost Adam. Yep. Oh, there you go.
There you
He's back.
Oh, so I was gonna say Zoom's yelling at me. It's giving
Yeah,
me some
so
weird errors. But
Get
anyway, I forgot about the plastic boat on the bottom where it's
Yeah.
an actual molded piece.
the straight up boat. So Game Nest. Any of you guys that haven't checked that out, it's Game Nest is in Las Vegas. It's kind of off the strip a little bit, but it is freaking amazing. If you guys love arcade stuff and you like weird arcade cabinets that are in great condition, check that place out, Game Nest. Again, not sponsored, but I care about people and I want you to have fun gaming, and that is a place that I would definitely check out.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
But-
and don't you have a walkthrough on your YouTube channel?
oh yeah,
on
I do.
that?
But I'm not.
Yeah, so check it out.
You
See
can
what
check
they
it
all
out on my
offer
channel
there.
if you'd like. I would love it if you would subscribe and all that fun stuff. But again,
Absolutely.
that's just if you feel like. But yeah, there is a walkthrough that I've done there. It is super fun. You actually see me playing the table flip game.
Yes.
But sorry, Dead Storm Pirates, fantastic choice. I love that game. I really like the 357 one with the updated additional levels. It's great. So yeah, awesome choice.
Adam, are you bringing that wheel to Georgia?
I mean, if you want me to, I
we
can.
need
It's,
to.
it-
Hey,
it's
if we
not
can
that
get-
big.
That'd be cool.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
So does it hook up USB or does it hook up to the spinner? How does that
No,
work?
so basically the Griffin Power Mate, which is I had this like back in high school. This thing's 20 years old. It has a input that you push forward. It was designed so you could edit videos, like kind of scroll your timeline. So it just moves the mouse on the x-axis, just like a regular spinner. So if anybody's got a USB spinner, so I just had this laying around, just USB, and then like I said, the emulator guys helped me hook this up, and I just 3D printed a press-on. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it just goes right on the cap. And then I found and modified like a little table bracket with these screw terminals, and it just bolts right to the front of my arcade. My
That's
kids
awesome.
love this. When I have this hooked up and that first scene with the ship, and they're like, turn
Yes.
more, and that whole thing.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
That's
Just makes it-
awesome.
I
That
love
is so
trying to
cool.
recreate the actual arcade experience as best
You
as
need-
possible.
You need to figure out a way to make that for your Etsy shop.
I did. So we all know Ray Arpeg Electronics. He actually sent me 2 Griffin Power Mates because we found out the hard way that this product had been around for so long. They kind of changed it a little, so the size is a little different. So I did make him a version of this as well, of course, in white to match his arcade. So there's a version of this out there. I just didn't know the feasibility of making a custom thing for a 20-year-old peripheral. So that's why it's not on my Etsy store. But otherwise, hey, if you guys want it, I'll make it.
Yeah, and just real quick, it came on. I played it the first time, or not on home console on PlayStation 3. It got packaged with Time Crisis 4
Yep.
and then Raising Storm. You had to use the move, and I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure you have to go like this and like this to do the turning. Not near as fun as what Adam has cooking there.
I forgot about how the move, like that version,
Yeah,
because
I
that was
have these
at
ones.
first.
I had these
Yeah.
ones.
Well,
Yeah.
before we got the Namco 357 version, the PS3 version was all we had, and you had to sit there and like spaz.
This was it. Yep, the PS3.
Nice,
Oh, yeah.
nice.
You guys
Right
all
there.
getting your fucking guns out. Jesus Christ.
Clack, 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 clack.
It's okay, I know.
I got
awesome.
this. I got
That.
this one.
We need to mod this one out, Adam. We need,
Oh, there you go.
We need a mod.
Oh, whoa! What is
we need
Yeah.
to
that?
mod.
Oh!
We need to mod this.
That needs to be
I can
done.
have it like
right.
a reload. We can do like
That has to happen.
Damn, you
Is
guys
that
are
the- It's
overcompensating
like
there.
the fucking BFG.
Is that Gears of War?
yeah.
That
I got
looks like
I got
Gears of
3
War.
Gears of War Lancers. So, but I need to
Top
I need to
25
gunfire
game
R
of
this
all
thing out.
time right there.
Yeah.
Larson, just because of the color, when you first picked that up, I thought that was the Fifth Element gun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, but anyways, yeah, I still got to do that. I got so many projects to do. Adam, we need to live closer. Can you imagine what we would do, what the trouble we would
Oh
get into?
man.
We would run out of money because we'd never go to work.
Well, we just have to go to work selling awesome stuff. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked. Guns.
That was great.
back to guns. All right. Thanks, Endgame. Anybody else have anything on Death Storm Pirates?
Mike, I would just add that it's one of my kids' favorites of all the games on emulation.
Mine
they
too.
love to play that game. So
Yeah, it's a
All
fun,
ages.
just a pure fun game.
yeah.
All right.
Right, Leia.
Layeth the smackdown. Layeth
All
your
right.
game down.
Layeth
Okay,
thine
so-
game down.
This one is not a family-friendly game. It's going to be from the famous House of the Dead series, and it's a console-like game from PS3. I think they have a Wii version of what as well, but I think there's an extended cut from the PS3, and it works with the PS Move controller, which actually isn't bad. I think Gunfire is probably a little more accurate, but it's still not bad hardware. Anyway, it's again, I'm bringing this up because I think it's one that's probably not super popular or well known. I didn't know about it until this group. And again, it's not arcade, but like I found it through trying to find PS3 games and find out what was even out there in light gun market, and it's pretty neat. Basically, it's the House of the Dead series, It's called House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut, and it's House of the Dead meets like a what was that director did, like Death Proof?
There it is.
And whatchamacallit? I don't know, like a B-level Quentin
Tarantino?
Tarantino.
Tarantino, yeah.
Yeah. It's like those meet each
Grindhouse.
other. Yeah, Grindhouse. That was another one.
Yep.
And it is a blast. Like the two main characters, they're both cops. One's Special Agent G, nothing special about him. The other was a black guy that he says more MFs than Samuel L. Jackson. The other two are like two strippers. One's really dumb. The other one's like this wild like chick. Like it's a fantastic story. It's got
so good.
It's got like little mechanics in it, like you can shoot money and upgrade your certain elements of your guns. It's a longer play. It's not the arcade version. Like, definitely one to check out.
Dude,
It's awesome.
Dude, I literally did not catch the name of it. What's the name?
House of the Dead Overkill Extended
Oh,
Cut.
extended.
okay. Overkill.
Dude.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
Oh
Dude,
man,
you gotta
Scan.
try it because it's
Yeah.
one of those games that I've always like sought after, and I put it on a shelf. Like when I get some time, I'm gonna go back and like really invest in this game, and I never have. I've only played the first like 5 minutes of that game.
I will say, dude, it's top 5 for me. Like
It's
a game.
awesome.
Top 5 game, top 5. One of my top 5 light gun. It's probably 5, but top 5 light gun games, and again, you guys cannot listen, but that game is freaking amazing. It shouldn't be as good as it is, but the
Right.
goofy House of the Dead like voice acting, but the stuff that they say, and then the story itself is so freaking wild with the one dumb girl
Absurd.
like it's just looking for her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is now like just all mutate. Oh, dude, it's so good. The guy, he's in a wheelchair. It's like Timmy. Oh, it's so good, dude. Like, Scan, it is right up your alley. If you play that
Yeah.
game, you will
I'm down.
laugh your freaking butt off.
What category is this in? I gotta find it right now.
It'll be in the.
I think it's Wii on
It's
ours. I
Wii.
don't know. I don't think
no,
we have
he's got
PS3.
he's got Omega, so it might be in the IR
Oh,
wheel.
fuck yeah.
Check the IR wheel, whatever one's in that one.
Man, motherfucking hell yeah, I got Omega shit.
Yeah, I know. Ain't playing. You know what's up.
All right, let's go to.
So, but yeah, dude, Andy, great game, dude. Oh man, I was so happy when you chose and said you were gonna pick that one because I was like, I was not gonna pick it, but I'm glad somebody.
People gotta
brought it up
know,
'cause
man.
It's so freaking good.
It's a gem.
It is
Yeah.
definitely a gem.
Another plug for Dantron's channel. We talked about it on the PlayStation 3 Retro Law, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's a good game, it's a good
Overkill.
game.
It's
Yeah.
Overkill.
Yep.
Yep.
It's
So it
got a
doesn't
piece.
say
Go ahead, Scan.
extended cut. It just says Overkill. Is that the one?
Yeah,
Is
that's it.
If it's PS3, it
It's
would
the
be.
Wii would
Extended
just
cut
be Overkill.
PS3.
This is what I got right here. Sorry guys, I'm derailing it, but I gotta find it.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah, that's the original, and then the extended cut would be on PS3, which would probably add some extra violence, I
Okay.
think, and some gore and stuff like that, vulgar language.
Oh, say less.
We got it.
The
We'll
Wii
get-
version is vulgar.
Yeah, it's
Right,
still.
but I
Oh, yeah.
think there's more to. It
Interesting.
says longer, harder, and gorier.
Say less
Man,
again.
what are we talking about?
This is one of those games where I would enjoy a debate as to which version is best because you've got PC, PS3, Wii, and that's it.
PS3
yeah.
is probably the best.
Yep, I would agree.
Exclusive new weapons.
I've
classic
played all.
and
I've
arcade
played.
modes.
Well, I've played the Wii and the PlayStation 3 version. I own the PlayStation 3 version on PlayStation 3 with my 2 Move controllers, and it's awesome, dude. It's so good. So
Mhm.
Scan, it's in PlayStation 3 most likely for you, and it just hasn't been shifted over for your. But that can happen. It's so good.
Oh, I'm saving it right now, man.
Such a great.
And
show.
Leia,
Find it.
I would say that, your first game was Blue Estates. I would say this game was probably inspiration for Blue Estates in a lot of ways.
Oh, which came first?
Yeah, you could say that for
It's
sure.
and
There's-
it's
there's
better.
some
Very
similarities.
similar
And
for sure.
Blue Estate is fantastic, but House
Yeah,
of
it
the Dead
is.
Overkill is better. It is a better game. I mean, don't get me wrong, Blue Estate's great. House of the Dead Overkill, extended to cut, especially, It's just and it's like
I
night and day.
agree.
It was like when somebody asked me which one's. Oh, it was D Thomas last one when he was like, are we talking Dark Escape? Is it better than House of the Dead 2? It's like that. Like
Yeah.
like just trying to compare those two. They're both good in their own way, but House of the Dead Overkill is on a different level.
Yep.
Right.
A quick wiki look up. So it did come before it beat Blue Estate by 5 years. Came out in 2009, but according to this, it had an iOS and an Android release.
Oh,
What?
Is that still around?
Oh, I never heard of them.
There's no way it's as good as the PS3 version.
Yeah, but I was just curious. Like, what does that kind of a port look like? That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tap in your
sucks,
screen.
probably.
Fuck that.
A touch screen where you just touch the.
yeah, just
Enemy.
touch the things. I
He
mean,
said, fuck that.
Like Fruit Ninja.
Horrible.
Nice, good choice, Andy. Layeth
Yeah,
bringing
great,
it in hot.
great choice.
All right, Wolfman, guess what?
Me?
Oh yeah.
No. All right. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, so
Dummy
I'm gonna
land
rewind
right
it
now.
back, Wolfman. This is
All
a
right.
law episode.
No, it's I'm gonna go with what I wanted to do originally. So it's December 1985. It's Christmas. I finally get I get my Nintendo Entertainment System. I plug it in. The first thing I did is not play Super Mario Brothers. I played Duck Hunt. And I
Wow.
played the shit out of that because you had your light gun. It's the first real experience I had with a light gun game. I played a light gun game, I want to say even before Magnavox Odyssey, they had
Oh.
some sort of boxed game. You got like what looked like a real kind of like rifle, and you plugged it into your TV coaxial, and it would be like little like square type animals that look like were on the screen, and you would shoot at it. And that was the first kind of, I don't know. We'll have if Arcade Adam could find that, then he deserves a raise. That was my first experience with the light gun game, but that kind of sucked. So when I saw Duck Hunt, the graphics were great. It was fun. That was like my first foray into light gun games. Yeah, my light gun was gray. When I first had mine. I know they re-released that light gun and it was orange. But I also remember playing Duck Hunt that the gun was not accurate at all. And I remember getting in trouble that Christmas because I was cursing, go figure, trying to hit the ducks. And I know I had good aim and I was aiming at the ducks and it kept missing and missing. And then I would get right up to the TV and I would shoot the ducks and it would miss right at the TV. And I was like, the accuracy was so bad. It was like aim tracks, except on like crack cocaine and heroin. It was so terrible. And it just
So aim tracks are better.
Yeah.
absolutely, aim tracks are way better than the Nintendo light gun.
I remember,
the
dude,
light gun sucked.
You're right about that. I remember having that fucking gun right up to the CRT
Yeah.
monitor, sliding it around
Yeah.
on the glass. Just,
Horrible accuracy. And then you play like, Gumshoe and like some of the other Hogan's Alley, some of the other light gun games, which also sucked with accuracy because you knew you were hitting those bad guys and it wasn't registering. And I just remember laying a line of profanity and getting grounded for that. So
Here's another plug for emulation.
Yeah,
You
well,
play it
dude,
now,
that
it's super accurate.
mm-hmm.
Play it
Dude.
play it on emulation.
for
It's
IR.
way accurate now.
Yep.
the reason you were cussing is because that fucking dog
Yes.
would come out, dude, and laugh at you every.
Exactly.
How many times do you guys remember that? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
How many bullets did you waste trying to shoot the dog, and then all of a sudden the
Oh,
ducks are
God.
coming and you wasted
Oh, yeah.
bullets?
I literally had an extended clip, man. I
Yeah.
went through it all.
it's so many
Well, then it
times.
has
that dog.
pigeons.
Shooting
Those
the
were
dog.
even harder to hit because they'd fly in the background and get really small.
Yeah, you
Yep.
just wait. You don't shoot at them at all. You
Yep.
wait until they all miss them, and you still have the 3 bullets. The dog pops up, and you shoot them all at the dog. Was I the only one that tried that? In
Oh yeah,
frustration?
no.
Oh man, good choice, Wolf. We all have memories of that game, right?
Yeah, that's why I picked it.
Fuck yeah.
Andy,
Wolf, I think I got you.
No way.
what?
Magnafox Odyssey Shooting Gallery is going to be my first guess.
If you show a picture, I'll know immediately if it was it.
So here's your gun.
That's it.
Oh
That's
my
it.
gosh.
That's it. That's what I had. I actually own that.
Oh my.
Nice.
You still
Yep.
own it?
No,
Oh.
no, I wish. That was it.
Oh my
God, was that horrible?
That looks awesome, Wolfman.
Look at that shit. Is
How
that-
old are you, Wolf? Holy cow!
I'm old. I'm almost 50, dude.
Are you
so
playing that on Light Bright?
we had a Magnavox Odyssey, man.
Pixelcade.
Pixel Cade.
It looks like Pixel Cade. Look at that
Yeah.
thing. Was
Yeah.
that like
For
a?
IR.
It looks like
It's an
almost like a
overlay.
transparency
Yeah,
in
look
front
at
of the
that
screen.
overlay.
Yeah, it is. It's an overlay. They stick an overlay on there.
Really? Is that? Oh, because there was like 4 games with this thing. Here, if I go back, was it just 4 different overlays? Oh yeah, look, it says,
Yep.
literally says that. I should read.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it
That
was.
is-
$24.95 gets you the gun and the game.
And the gun looked real, dude. That looked like
Yeah.
a real gun. Like that
Well,
was
Wolf,
not.
Wolf, that's
Yeah.
probably why you had a gray version of the Nintendo Light Zapper, and I have an orange one. They probably thought it looked too lifelike,
Yep.
so they
Yep.
had to change it to
Yeah,
orange.
you might be right on that.
Yep.
Some
I
little
totally
kid
had the
died for
gray
your
one.
video games.
I had the gray one, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Boy, that's bringing back memories, Adam. Thank you.
That's
No problem.
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Bad memories.
Well, memories nonetheless.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I had a bad memory and I totally jumped our normal order, and Adam still needs to go. Adam,
Oh,
give us your
I-
second game, brother.
Oh, real
my
quick.
second
Oh wait,
game-
what's up,
wait.
Andy?
Yep, real quick. I just want to add. I've seen something that went around the group as far as Duck Hunt. I guess there's a rumor that there's 2-player on that, and you can actually the second person can change the flow of the duck.
Yep.
I've tried it. It does work.
Okay.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
Player 2.
Yeah, is that like the 2-player in Punch Out? Like, or is it Super Punch Out?
Super
That-
Punch
Yep.
Out.
Yeah, that you never heard of back in the day. And
Correct.
Then you hear it years later, and you're like, really? I got to try that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's
Just
a cool
like
fact there, nerd fact right
Yep.
there.
And there's
Nerd
another
fact.
nerd fact. They just released that there's a Konami code for one of my favorite games of all time, Castlevania
Oh, yeah.
Legacy of the Night. They just found it.
Oh,
Whoa.
It's like it's an alternative version of the Konami code, and it does something. It gives you, I forget what it does, but
Yeah, I saw that article.
yeah,
After what, 20 plus years
20
later?
plus years.
finally
Yep,
discovered.
yep.
ready. It's reverse Konami code.
It's not. It's like it's the Konami code, but you have to hit like left like 3 or 4
Yeah.
times every time you do it or something.
Yeah, like up, left, left.
Yes,
left,
exactly.
something,
Yep.
Something like that.
Oh wow! So Wikipedia does confirm the whole second player thing on Duck Hunt, and they also mention in round 99, if you advance, there's actually a kill screen.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I didn't know that either.
God, that you got to be sadistic to make it to level 99.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
past
Don't got that time.
7, 8, that's when it got. I mean, I don't
It
know
got
about you
rough,
guys.
yeah.
That's when it got.
Yeah.
around
Tense
6 or 7, it started getting really rough. I think I made it
Yeah.
as a record. I think I made it to 12. Like, I think that was it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
That
dude.
you're right. It is hard.
It's a hard game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, one more thing too. Now that I'm looking at the wiki page, did anybody really, dive into the clay shooting, the clay pigeons?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed
Absolutely.
that.
Yep.
Good,
That was
again-
a fun mode.
Shout out Game Nest. They had that I don't know what they called it, but
The huge.
gosh,
one.
it had to be a 100-inch screen and
Uh-huh.
those real modern version of the clay pigeons that you could play. It was kind of playing like life size.
Yep.
Clay pigeon, but it was a totally different game. But they had again Game Nest Vegas.
Excuse me.
Spend the $15 to go off strip. It's like a 10-minute cab ride. Trust us.
Please.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, it's such a great. They take such good care of their machines, and there's just such stuff you've never seen in the wild before. It's an adventure.
Yeah. Adam.
Well, and And real quick before we move on, like all of us are talking about from Duck Hunt how simple it is, and then we're talking about Time Crisis with the ducking mechanic, and then we're talking about Dark Escape with 4D, all this crap. Like, but yet earlier on, we're like all the gun games they have a similar feel, but it's like, well, really, there is a lot of variety to these games, and it's really cool hearing everybody's passion for all the different games.
There is so many, and I know we've mentioned it. If we want to go back to my turn real quick,
Yep.
If we're done with Duck Hunt, I hate to bring it up again because we've already mentioned 3 versions of this game, but House of the Dead, I'm going to mention because that's my second pick. It's House of the Dead Remake. PC release, and again, a game that would be not only worse for wear without the community, but almost trash without the community, because the release version, the PC release version, didn't support light guns. It's a light gun game, but for whatever reason, the developer if you go into the discussion threads on Steam, it is hilarious, and I hope it's still out there. There's literally users day one when they bought the game. It's like, hey, developer, what about Sinden support? And they're like, huh. Their response was like, never thought of that. And it's like, what?
Wow.
It's just so crazy. And then again, I'm probably gonna mispronounce his name or the actual credit due, but it's like Mystery Wizard or Mystery Encoder. I forget. The guy that added Blue Estate 2-player support also did light gun support for a light gun game. Oh, and by the way, threw in 2-player support day one too when he dropped that add-on. And then to this day, again, one of my kids' favorite games because it's just so approachable. You just grab the guns and go, and there's so many. The graphics are there, the detail is there, the gameplay is there, and then light gun support is there due to the community. So it's just an all-rounder, but it wouldn't have been there without the community support. So I just wanted to throw that one out there.
It has gotten so much better, Adam, since it first came out. Not only the 2-player support, but if you can get your hands on the arcade modified edition. It didn't come out in arcade.
Didn't even mention that.
Yep. There is a version of it that's arcade style. Go ahead, Adam, talk about that.
I totally forgot about it, but I did want to mention that that's a different guy. Argon, I believe, did the guy that maintains the D-Mule Shooter repository code base that helps out more emulator games and things like that for outputs and a whole bunch of reasons. But he, I believe, was the author of the arcade version of that after it got 2-player support. And I think that dropped 4, 5, 6 months after initial release. And it modifies the start screen, and you've got coin up kind of modes, and it suppresses some of the PC stuff in the game, so you kind of get that arcade feel at home, which is so important.
Right. It takes the biggest thing I like is what Adam talked about. It takes away the need to click through menus and stuff with your gun. I want to play the arcade. You go click, coin in, you're done. You're in. You don't have to do any of that other stuff. It's the best version of that game, in my opinion. It's fantastic. So if you can get your hands on that one, play it.
So I remember when they announced this House of the Dead remake, and it was for Nintendo Switch, actually. I think it was a timed exclusive. So I wonder, Adam, if the PC was an afterthought, where they were making it for the Joy-Cons. And we talked about earlier on, like how the Sindens and all arcade emulation is keeping the light gun games alive. You know what also kind of kept it alive was the Wii, right? With the Wiimotes, where it brought back a lot of our favorite games. And Bib's game where we talked about House of the Dead Overkill. They made that for the Wii initially. So then I think the idea was, hey, the Switch is really popular. Let's bring back some of the arcade shooters for that as well. But then it's like, well, if you're bringing it to PC, why not Sinden support and all this sort of stuff? So while it's cool that they were thinking about the Switch and the motion controls and stuff, it's like, yes, we needed the community to actually make it really good. Yeah,
you're right. I think you're probably hit the nail on the head there because, I never even tried it. I bought it for the Switch, but I never even tried it because the 2-player support dropped like right around the same time. But was the idea there that you would have a motion follow,
I think so,
or use the actual analog control? I wasn't even...
Well, because like the guns are so expensive, like on PlayStation 2, to make those gun con 2s and stuff, your bundles were like 70, 80, 90, $100 back then. So they're kind of pricing people out of the market where, am I really going to spend all this money just to play one game? So I think that's why the Wiimotes and the Joy-Cons, hey, you already have that with your console. So now we can put our games on there.
Hey,
so yeah, the motion control was the main thing with it.
Stop
Okay.
talking like we're not people that own, $200 or $300 controllers to play one game, because we do.
I'm like, come on.
The market is out there.
The nostalgia market goes deep, so just do it. And I hope the developer, because again, in the same threads on Steam, they mentioned that they might do 2 and 3 as a
so I'm on the Discord, and their Discord they are making 2 and 3. They got the rights to it, and it's still. So I'm on their Discord, and it's still in the pipeline. As I read it last week, even that they were still on it. So
everybody go on that Discord and type in there, hire mystery wizard encoder guy.
Yep.
Jesus.
Pay him. Yeah, just pay him.
Take, license whatever the heck he did and just put it right in the game day 0.
Well, Jim, you mentioned that. That's awesome that you mentioned that, because I remember when they first announced the first game, they said 1 and 2 at that point, that they were going to get both. But then 2 never really happened. So I didn't know if, because they had all these problems with the PC port, if they decided, hey, it's not worth it. So that's cool that they're still talking about it. And then now there's mention of 3 as well, because 3 was not mentioned in that initial post.
Yeah, well, but they're concentrating on 2. But
yep.
So the first House of the Dead, which is, I thought was, it's great and everything else, but the graphics were just, I don't know. I mean, it was the first time you used polygons and everything else. So they kind of like this remake actually kind of like is almost layered upon the first game, but awesome graphics. So anyway, I went on there thinking, okay, well, are they going to make a number 2? Because they had license for 1 and 2. And the developers are still on there, and they're still active on their Discord talking about how they're making 2 and possibly 3. And I said, well, 3 is actually kind of like almost similar to the remake, where the graphical leap is not that high. I don't think. I mean, it's better, but not like way better.
No.
So definitely 2. And I don't know when they're going to do it, but they definitely. Here's the thing: I don't get, unless they have light gun support. I don't see how it sells.
Exactly. It's like, that's just, it was so disappointing day 1 on the Steam download. It was one of like maybe 2 or 3 Steam games I considered refunding. Like, that's how bad it was.
Yep. I remember I picked it up that day 1 too, and Adam, you and I were actually texting like, this is stupid. I can't believe we did this.
It was
wasn't
just so
supposed to be this way.
surprising.
Not like this.
Yeah, and then you go in the forums and the developer acts like they've never heard of light guns before.
Yeah, I know. I remember those days. That was a sad couple of days, because I want to say I think it was day 2, the end of day 2, that we got some light gun support, but it was still kind of broken. But you and I remember, like, I'm thinking about refund. I was like, sorry to purchase.
Because I remember I turned to back, so I had the Steam version, I bought that, then I bought it for the Switch, and then I turned and went down the emulation route. I was like, can I make a light gun work with the emulator for this game? And even that was a giant mess as well. So it was really disappointing day 1 and 2 experience.
Yeah, there's weird things like some of these games, like the new Turtles game. There's no online support for a 4-player arcade game. Like, what are these companies thinking with some of this stuff? It's just kind of lazy.
2024. It's inexcusable.
Yeah.
It is lazy. It is, and you know what else sucks? There's no combos. There's no secrets. There's no unlockables, hidden characters. This is 2024. Goddamn, Shredder's Revenge is 10 times better than that game. 10 times.
Well, I don't think Contra had online support at launch either. And it's like, it's a 4-player game, side-scrolling shooter. Like, come on now.
Yeah, whoever developed the last Turtles, well, it's just a lazy arcade port, but you could just tell there was no love in it, like Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge was launched with online support for 6 people.
Yeah.
And I don't. Sorry.
Shredder's Revenge have crossplay, or is it console specific?
Yep.
Crossplay. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. See, that's something that, okay, if you don't have crossplay at launch, sure, you should have it. Fine, but you should have online support.
Yes.
You know what I'm hoping?
Shallow beat 'em up game, you know?
I agree 100% with what you're talking about. I'm gonna go back to light gun games
Yep.
for online support as well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about
Ooh.
this. Is just I'm going to touch on it. This is my game that I was going to talk about, but I think there needs to be more online supported light gun games where you can play online with your buddies, like Adam and I did in Dead Containment. That game is not as good playing by yourself, but playing with a friend. And Adam, didn't we go through and like read all the stuff too? I'm trying to.
We read the lines,
we
man.
read the
It was
lines, did
hilarious.
all the audio.
Yes.
It was so good. But anyways,
It
we
was
need more
so
of
funny.
that.
I had trouble reading the lines.
Yeah,
We had
we're
so
laughing
much
so
fun.
much. Yeah, but that wasn't my game. But I'm just throwing that out there. If anybody that's developing light gun games, develop it with online support, please. I mean, there's a market for that. Even going back as far as re-release some games with the actual like online component. Add an extra $5 to it or something. People will pay an extra $5 add-on to play with their friends in light gun
All
games.
day.
They just will.
Mhm.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna tell you. Look, I'm a consumer. I'm telling you, do it. Make it happen. So
And Dan,
yo.
just a real quick piggyback back to Time Crisis 2 and 3, where player 2 had a different path than player 1.
Yep.
But if you only have one, you can only afford one gun, and you don't have buddies that come over all the time to play these games, you never experience player 2. So if you could play online, I could be like, Dan, I've never done, Mark's playthrough. Can you play player 1 and I'll play player 2? And now I get to experience it online together,
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
100%. All right. So my game, last game, this has been a lot of fun, you guys, but my game that I'm going to bring up is a little bit of a different one, and it's one of those cabinets that, again, is a showstopper cabinet. People have seen it. It's an older game. The graphics aren't great, but it is a ton of fun. If you get an opportunity, anybody that's watching this, just freaking play it. It's called LA Machine Guns. Any of you that
Yeah.
have
Oh,
played, see
Oh,
everybody nodding
yeah.
their heads? Because that's one that people will sleep on LA Machine Guns until you see it in an arcade. You're like, what's this? It's got this platform that you stand on. They're mounted guns,
Yep.
so they're not like super
Mhm.
heavy, but the guns are heavy. And they kick freaking hard when you're playing with them. And the floor rumbles, and the sound is great. It's a big screen. It's everything about that is bright yellow, so it stands out, and they can throw it in the corner, you would still see it. It's that kind of a cabinet. It's a lot of fun. It's super easy to get into as well. And so and somebody else help me out here. Like look at that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, kicks butt.
And it's older too. Go ahead.
I literally had that
game.
experience that you're talking about. Like I went to an arcade a few months ago, and this cabinet was in there, and those guns are huge. And
LA, is it LA Machine Guns?
Correct.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm saving that bitch right now.
Dude,
There's
Dude.
a prequel too, like New York one.
yeah, there's another one. It's not called LA.
What is it?
I know what you're talking about though, but
Gunblade New York
Gunblade.
is either the.
yeah.
Is
Not-
that a
not
different
good.
game or just a different title?
it's a
in
different
Japan?
game. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
precursor. LA Machine Guns is the second one, but this
Yeah.
one on the arcade cabinet, there's nothing like it. It's awesome.
Look at
It
that
is.
floor. I never realized. I've never encountered one of
play
these
right
things
now.
in real life.
Look-
Like the floor moves.
Yeah, look at the floor, dude. Like it says Gunner 1, Gunner 2 on the floor. You stand up on it, and it does. It vibrates. The floor vibrates as well as
Wow.
the recoil. The guns don't just have rumble in them; they actually have a spring
Oh,
recoil. The gun
yes.
itself recoils on the mount.
Like a giant super jolt.
I've played this.
Yeah.
Yep, dude, it's so good. It's such a
Why
good
have
game.
I not saved this to my God, dude? This is why conversations like this are important.
Yes.
Yep.
Did
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, that's my last game. That's the game that I wanted to touch on again. For me I had a newer one, and I had LA Machine Guns is kind of like Hydro Thunder for me. It's one of those ones that, yeah, look at that thing. It's one of those games that even though it's old, it's still super fun, and I always go back to it. It's just a great game. I mean, look at that, dude. It plays so well too. I mean, I don't know.
Here's a nerd fact. Not only is it a great game, and I agree with Dan. They ported. You could get a double pack. It's kind of rare. You get Gunblade New York, and you get LA Machine Guns for the Wii.
Yep.
And you use the Wiimote, and it's cool and stuff. But it ain't anything like the arcade, like Dan said. It's an experience to play it in the arcade. The Wii game is fun, but it's not the arcade.
And here's the big thing about this too, is this will be a cabinet that I will own that this is just going to be one. And the cool part is it's one of the easier cabinets to modify and put an actual an LCD monitor in it. So it's, you know, because at first it comes in, it has a projector screen, but it's not a light gun. It's like a Terminator 2. It basically has like a set, basically how you move and tilt the gun tells where the gun is moving on there. So actually it's not flashing off of the screen. So it doesn't matter what screen you have. So that's the cool part about that as well, is you'll see a lot of them out there and they'll say LCD upgrade already performed. And it's just everything about it is awesome. So
Jesus Christ, do not play this game if you have the spoon.
yeah. Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, the camera whips around, so
Yeah.
if you had a couple beverages, it's not a recommended title.
I mean, I don't have the spins, man, but I'm just saying, like, do not overdo it and play this fucker.
Right. So anyways, anybody else got anything to say? We're gonna wrap this episode up. It's been tons of fun. Anybody got something?
I just say, like, we could do another episode of this because the
Yes.
life and games go deep, man. There's so
Yeah.
much more you could talk about.
I agree. Supplemental.
Supplemental.
You know, the only thing that I'll add to this is when I was picking the options for my Megacade when I put in my order and decided to buy one, I had never really dabbled in a ton of the light gun games that are, there was the staples that I had played, but I was never really a big light gun game. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I buy light guns with this cabinet because I want to fucking play a bunch of light gun games. And it was probably the best decision I ever made. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much shit you can play on it that you otherwise wouldn't have known existed. Light gun games are a great category. No regrets. And that's what I'll add.
So
Yeah,
what-
and like a lot of our arcades have like our name games, our console games, our light gun games, but there's dedicated gun cabinets too that are pretty cool too. And I actually, even though I have light guns with my arcade, I'm just like, man, that'd be kind of cool to just have a dedicated one that's always set up for it. Theme the graphics of all House of the Dead, Time Crisis type stuff on there. You know, so there's a time and place for that type of stuff too.
So, and with the
Heck yeah.
with latest technology, I mean, we went from aim tracks to send-ins to Gunfire IR, Blam coming out. I mean, it's literally, I've never seen such a renaissance the last 7 or 8 years of different technologies. And I really think that in the future, you're going to see a lot more games that are gun games just because of the technology coming out.
Right. Yeah. To my point earlier, that's why light guns kind of came back during the Wii, because everybody had a Wii and you could use it as your gun. So you didn't have to pay for this extra peripheral. Well, now everybody, you know, in the arcade scene, emulation scene has a send-in, has a aim track, has something. So they all will work with these games. So why not bring a Time Crisis 6 out or a House of the Dead Remake 2 out or a brand new game like Blue Estate and those types of games, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, any light gun game on Steam is like a day one buy as soon as I find it. There's so many. It's just, it's just a
Can't be
genre
that
that I love.
expensive to. Can't be that expensive to make either in comparison.
Rail shooter stuff, I would think would be easier to develop.
Right.
I'm no developer.
Well, there's
Right.
games that are out there that, I mean, it's happening. Jim, I'm glad you brought that up because look
Yeah.
at Mad Bullets and things like that.
Yes.
Those games, there's such a draw for those type of games. You guys, it's another one
Decop.
to check out. So
Decop.
there, yep,
Rail
exactly.
Break.
Decop even, yeah. So there is a draw for these type of games. The hardware is now out there in people's hands. Just develop it. Like, the challenge for everybody is, right, they don't want to spend money to develop some of these games. Like, am I going to spend money to make this game and then it might not sell? There is that market out there now. And as a matter of fact, that market is hot. The people that are going to buy your game are the ones that have these peripherals, and they're the ones that have the money. They are willing to give it to you. I'm just telling you right now, developers, this is me helping you out. They are willing to give you the money if your game is good enough. Make a light gun game.
Yep.
Straight
and
up.
the barrier to entry is falling like a rock. We got those retro shooters now. You get a pair of guns for $200. They got 4-point light system. Like, it's great. And then, you know, another new game that hasn't even come out yet, Blunderbusters.
Yep.
All that stuff. There's just, I hope the momentum keeps building because it seems
Heck
like
yeah.
it's kind of a snowball effect right now.
Well, and to piggyback, Dan, off of your comment earlier with online play and stuff, like Tomb Raider is a great arcade game, 4 players, you're all buddy right next to each other, but you're not going to have 4 light gun games or light guns at your arcade most likely. So if you release that on Steam for $20, build it right with the graphics, the capability for online support, where 4 of us can get together and play it, we'd all buy the game and play it together, you know?
Heck yeah.
Exactly.
Day one.
Yeah, exactly. Even before day one, that would be a pre-order.
Yeah, some of those light gun games. There's a couple. There's a BioCrisis and BioCrisis 2.
Yes.
I've got on my wish list, like stuff like that. Like it's just, I look at the genre and I sort on Steam just to make sure there's not new stuff I haven't heard about. I'm constantly on there looking for new stuff.
Yep.
You guys,
definitely need to do another episode sometime for light guns.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You guys, I'm in Vegas right now, man. I'm fucking hitting up the link. I'm blowing up Mandalay Bay.
Nice. LA machine guns, baby. It'll suck you in. Leia, did you have something to say? I wanted to make sure you had something to say.
No, I really want to go over more games. Like, definitely need a supplemental for this.
Okay, it'll happen. We'll get the supplemental worked up in the rotation sometime soon. So first off, I want to just say thanks again to everybody that's on here. Jim, it was great to have on here. The man Foster, thank you, sir. Endgame, it was good to see you again. Thanks for being part of this. It's always great to have you here. And Adam, you're like another brother for me. So I always love it when you're able to make it on here and bring in some of your knowledge. Lay at the Smackdown, you are not like my brother. You are my brother. Just really close. I really appreciate you. I love all your input that you have on games. You always have just like a fun spin that you have on things, and I really appreciate you. And then the man Scantron 5K, of course, you and I are like a ham and burger. So anytime I can get you in here is definitely going to be a treat, and I appreciate you. You guys make sure you check out Lay at the Smackdown, his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of fun stuff on there, even some weird UTV stuff if you like that kind of stuff. He's got lots of content. Same thing with Arcade Adam. You can watch him build, break, rebuild things all day long into your heart's content. He is the mad scientist for a reason. And Scantron 5K, he is the life of the party, no matter if it's a party online or it's a party in his house. So make sure you check him out as well. He definitely has a lot of fun content. Lots of tutorials, lots of how-to videos, lots of, hey, have you thought about this? Look at me cut up my machine. All of that kind of stuff is on his channel. You will enjoy it immensely. And then the last but not least is Wolfman sitting over there. My other, I know, tearing up, just I love having you with me, man. Again, I said this before, I would not be doing this without you. And I just enjoy rolling through all of this stuff, talking about games with your friends, and you're a big part of that. And so I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you so much. And don't forget the hostess with the mostest, his channel, Dantron69K, who does amazing stuff. Like and I told you this in private when we spoke, that I watched you taking apart the Xbox, and I was mesmerized. It was like watching a brain surgery. Like, you were telling us everything that you were doing, and my anxiety was like through the roof. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to break something. and you took it apart and put it back together, and took it apart and put it back together. And you were trying to, get that laser just right. And I don't know, I was fascinated with that. And you do such cool stuff with modifications and obviously retro law and game reviews and gameplays and peripherals. So please give him a like and subscribe too. So he's modest. He's never gonna talk about himself, but that's where I come in and I plug the crap out of him and his channel. So
thank you.
He deserves 1,000 subscribers at this point, and he
for sure
to do lives and all that stuff. It's long overdue. So please, if you like his content or anybody that you see here, it takes 2 seconds to hit the like button and subscribe. Even if you never go back and watch their stuff again, it still helps them.
Yep. He's also on Twitch too. I want to throw that out there.
Yep,
he did that Xbox thing live.
Amen.
I do a lot of live streams. Live streaming will be through Twitch, but pretty much every single one of my Twitch, I will eventually make it to YouTube. So
YouTube.
Anyways, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. We're definitely going to make this supplemental happen. And until next time, later.
Let's fucking lose.
Peace.